Market day report as we head towards the close, the finish line. Will we finish with a win or a loss? Well, hopefully it's all wins for you and all gold. Well, speaking of gold, I think that's where we'll start. The gold market. I hadn't really planned on it, but hey, I'm okay for spontaneity here. April gold is 31.19. That's after hitting 31.49 in the trade this morning. You know, we just continue to see record highs in the gold market. Can we continue? I mean, we've seen strength here and strength in the silver market as well. Talked with Phil Flynn from Price Futures earlier this morning on the radio, and he said, keep an eye on gold, silver, and copper as well. So those are now moving in the red right now, but again, looking further down the road. All right, we're approaching the end of the trading day for corn, and December is 4 3/4 cents higher, 4.46 3/4. Soybean trade, we've seen double digits, and we're still seeing it, up 17.5 on the November, 10.36 3/4. Wheat market will hit these quickly on the new crop, July, 5.52, penny and a half higher. For hard red, 3 higher, 5.73. For spring wheat, December, 3 3/4 higher, 6.40 3/4. And new crop cotton, 73 higher, 70.65. Ted Seifried's with Zaner Ag Hedge in Chicago. All right, Ted, what do you make of all this?
Yeah, great question, Tony. Trying to figure all that out right now, actually. But look, you know, I feel like a lot of other markets at the moment, or at least earlier today, were really focusing on the potential for reciprocal tariffs. We're going to find out a lot about that tomorrow, I think. We think, right? You know, but the grains really have been kind of ignoring that. Obviously, corn and wheat have backed off their highs pretty well, but soybeans really flirting with new highs as we get into the close. And soybeans had an outside week reversal higher last week. You got an outside reversal higher day going on here today. So a lot of signs on a chart saying that beans might have a near-term low in and might have some upside potential going into planting, which would make some sense after looking at what we saw on the USDA's planted acreage or planting intentions report yesterday. You can make an argument that the soybeans might need to hold on to the acres that they have, if not maybe try to gain another 200, 300,000, something like that. But also, with the impending tariffs, you feel like there is a lot of downside risk for soybeans through the rest of the week. So for the fact that we're doing today's, now I will also say that there's been a lot of talk about biofuels in the last week, specifically biodiesel and soybean oil. Soybean oil has been really very strong here today, leading the way higher. So we've got a lot of different things kind of happening at the moment. We knew this was going to be a very volatile week. Certainly we were under pressure yesterday, reversal lower yesterday. Now we have the reversal higher here today. What do we really put a lot of faith in? I'm not sure we can. I think we need to see what happens tomorrow and the next day. But the way we end this week, Tony, I think is going to be a very strong indicator of how we're going to trade here for the next few weeks as we get into planting, start watching weather, and start watching weather for our growing season. But again, how we end this week, I think, is going to be very, very important.
All right, Ted, we're about to look at the protein sector. Before we go there, though, I want to look at a market we rarely ever talk about. USDA says new record low for oats. And in the action today, moving a little higher on the front 3 months. But I just throw that out because, again, USDA says a new record low as far as acreage for oats. All right, we'll take a break now, and we'll come back and we'll talk about something we do trade quite a bit more. That's livestock futures. Market Day Report continues in a moment. So we're headed to the close. Looks like the cattle market will close in higher territory. Let's go. Live cattle right now. The April contract, 209.20. We're just 2 dimes off the day's high, $1.40 higher on the session. August, 202.35. That's up 232. Ted Seifried's going to break this down for us in just a moment. Feeders are up 267 on the May, 287.17. And the hogs today have been higher as well. The May 89.50 is $1.10 higher. June the most active at 97.07, $1.80 higher. I've teased it. Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge. All right, maybe you can help us understand, is there more room to move higher?
Look, the feeder cattle held right where they needed to, and this is a bigger up day. And this is all happening in spite of weakness in stock markets and equities. All the concerns that we have when we're getting into tariffs and what the economy might look like. I mean, this is some real strength on a day where you thought the risk was to the downside. So that's a pretty impressive thing. Now, as you're showing those, I mean, look, the stocks are well off their lows, so that's helpful too. And as we're getting into the close, we are kind of teasing highs there in the live cattle complex. You like it when feeders are the leaders. You'd like to see live cattle come along. We'd love to see some higher cash trade here this week, Tony, and that would kind of put the icing on the cake. But like I said, I mean, we still have a very volatile rest of the week to go. So I don't know how much stock we're putting into charts this week. Because the volatility can be wild. We can change things in one day. We can change the look of charts in one day. So we'll have to keep an eye on what happens tomorrow and then how the dust settles here for the rest of the week. But today is a very positive day for the cattle complex. Like I said, feeders held right where they needed to. Really nice bounce. Looks like we want to go and test the recent highs. And it's a good day for hogs, too. You know, hogs have been very sideways, but acting like they want to go test the high end of the range.